Haunted House, Haunted Mouse by Judy Cox, illustrated by Jeffrey Ebeler. We have permission from Holiday House Publishing to read to you today. One October night, the doorbell rang. Mouse peeked out of his hidey hole. The night was dark. The dark was spooky. On the front porch stood a fearsome trio, a skeleton, a goblin, and a ghost. But Mouse wasn't scared. His whiskers twitched as he watched. "Trick or treat," said the skeleton. "Trick or treat," said the goblin. "Trick or treat," said the little bitty ghost, and she tripped over her sheet. The three held out their sacks. Dad plopped one piece of candy in each bag. "Thank you," called the kids. The ghost dropped her sack, and goodies spilled out. Mouse's mouth watered. Yum! He wanted trick-or-treats, too. While everyone helped the ghost, Mouse scrambled into the trick-or-treat sack. Candy! More candy than Mouse had ever seen. Sour balls, gumdrops, lollipops, and chocolate bars. Mouse closed his eyes and inhaled deeply. His whiskers wiggled. He simply didn't know where to begin. He nibbled on this and noshed on that until his cheeks were as plump as a chipmunk's. Just then the bag swung high in the air. Where were they going? Mouse gnawed a peekaboo hole in the paper sack. Dark clouds flitted over the moon. Jack-o'-lanterns sent beams of golden candle shine flickering across the front lawns. Flocks of trick-or-treaters scurried from door to door. Mouse didn't see the candy leaking out piece by piece through the peekaboo hole. The sack swayed like a pirate ship in a gale. Mouse's tummy roiled. His head spun. Poor seasick Mouse. The next time the ghost dropped her sack, Mouse staggered out. Just then it started to rain. First a drizzle, and then a full-out gully washer. The trick-or-treaters dashed for home, holding their coats over their heads. Boom went the thunder. Flash went the lightning. Away went Mouse. He darted here and there, dodging raindrops splashing through puddles. Where could he find shelter? He was lost, he was wet, he was cold. An abandoned house stood by itself down at the end of the street. The door was barely open, just wide enough for Mouse. Lickety-split, he scampered inside. He didn't notice the sign on the front. "Keep out." The door slammed shut behind him. Was that the wind? Or was the house haunted? Mouse tip-pawed down the hall to see what he could see. Cobwebs draped over his ears. The house was old. The house was empty. A spooky house filled with creaks and groans and things that went bump in the night. He heard bones rattle. A skeleton dancing? He saw eyes glimmer. A goblin prancing? A pale shape floated past. A ghost haunting? Mouse shook. Mouse shivered. Mouse shuddered. He backed up step by careful step until he was against the wall. Trapped! Boo! But Mouse was not afraid. Boo! He cried, as bold as a badger. I'm not afraid of you. Outside the house, the wind blew away the clouds. Moonlight shone in the windows, revealing a bamboo wind chime jiggling. No skeleton. A green frog croaking. No goblin. Torn curtains fluttering. No ghost. The storm was over. Mouse jumped out the window. He was ready to go home to a safe, dry hidey hole, but how could he find his way back? All at once, he saw a cherry lollipop shining in the moonlight. He picked it up. Farther down the sidewalk, he spied a sour ball, and under the street lamp, he spotted a scattered row of candy corn. Piece by piece, he followed the candy trail, all the way home. There in his hidey hole, he had a Halloween party of his very own. Good night, spooky night. Happy trick or treat. Haunted house, haunted mouse.